The USL Championship's 10th anniversary season begins on the West Coast. San Diego and Las Vegas directed by two of the U.S.'s most lethal goal scorers. It's said that teams take after their managers, and one is brash, bold, and opinionated. The other calculated, new to the fray, almost subdued. Tonight, sold out in San Diego, Donovan and Winalda, Loyal and Lights. Nothing subdued about tonight. Welcome everybody to the USL Championship Game of the Week. It's the beginning of the 10th anniversary season of the league, and tonight, Landon Donovan leads his San Diego Loyal SC side into Torero Stadium for the first time. It's a sellout in San Diego as the third year begins for Las Vegas Lights, and there are firsts abound this evening. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on hand, glad to have you with us this year. Devin, you think about all it took to get San Diego to today. They're ready for the journey.
Landon Donovan in preseason gave us a peek behind the curtain, and he talked about the All Blacks. That's a New Zealand national rugby team. He talked about the culture that has been created, and that's very difficult to replicate, especially in such a short time frame. But then the San Diego Loyal stepped in, their fan group, and I really liked what's come out of them. They said some are born, raised, others called to serve, and some relocated. But we're all here now, and we're all San Diegans. He's assembled a quality little squad out on the West Coast. Some young, some old, regardless, a massive amount of experience, and they're ready to go to battle.
Multiple natives of San Diego on Team 1, they've been calling it, in San Diego, including their captain, Sal Zizzo. Culture is something they're trying to build in year one in San Diego. It has been missing in Las Vegas. Eric Winalda thinks he has it right now.
He's smart, and I'm going to keep an eye on this man right here. Number 2, Ramon Martin Del Campo. No longer with the Fresno Foxes, gets an opportunity to showcase himself in Sin City, and why not? For a team that was averaging, giving up almost 2 goals per game, you go out and get arguably one of the best center backs in all the league. He's going to anchor this back line. Oh, by the way, Sekou Kone, yeah, he's to challenge Corey Burke at the Philadelphia Union for that number 9 position. He's going to do the dirty work on the other end of the field.
Folks, it's time. San Diego has waited years for this. Las Vegas hoping the turnaround begins this evening. 2020 is here. The 10th anniversary season of the USL Championship. Starting 11s, kickoff coming up. Elton Garcia. The referees making their way onto the field. Players right behind them. Torero Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC and Las Vegas Lights ready to kick off the 2020 season. This is the inaugural starting 11 for San Diego.
We're going to figure out exactly real quick what this team is going to look like. I admired Landon Donovan, said he didn't know what he wanted it to look like going forward, but it's going to start off in a 3-5-2. Charlie Adams is going to pull the strings on the bottom end. And how about Raul Mundiola, former Las Vegas Lights man himself, stepping in next to Carlos Alvarez and Cutis Lawal, a man who came on quite strong under the Foxes last year, will be paired up with none other than Irvin Parra. That's going to be your home squad. How about Las Vegas Lights and Eric Winalda, a team that has really struggled on the road, 4-23-7 in their first two seasons. We told you about Martin Del Campo. Don't forget about Jordan Merle at left back, quality player. Gabe Robinson as well. Grant Robinson in front of him. He's kind of the focal point that wasn't necessarily to be. He's going to be a wild card. And their former outside back, Brian De La Fuente, moves all the way up next to Sekou Kone Junior Burgos, a guy who was drafted as high as 44 back in 2011 with Toronto FC. He's going to be the one that can really pull the strings. He's got to find a way to connect this entire unit together. We've seen good, we've seen bad, we have never seen great. Eric Winalda's ready for that.
The team sheets, I'm sure, were signed by the managers, and there is a high likelihood that they are now the most valuable team sheets ever signed in league history. Landon Donovan breaking Eric Winalda's record back in 2008. Eric Winalda will be the first to tell you it was with a penalty.
Don't bring it up to Landon, though. No, they had a little fun with it, and I think these guys have reached a point in times in their career where they have the luxury of passing on the knowledge, and that's what we're all here for, right? We want to see a good display of football. Sit back, you should be enticed.
Torero Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived, and the 10th anniversary season of the USL Championship underway, and Vegas going for goal at the outset. And that is precisely par for the course. Well, you score that, I think we can all go home.
Well, I'm leaving. You can stay.
Tossed in by Charlie Adams. San Diego in white, Las Vegas in a multitude of colors, as is typical.
You got to think about the fact, Mike, that for Landon Donovan, when he talked about what this project was to be going forward, he said, didn't know how I wanted to play, not exactly sure what the philosophies were going to be. He wanted guys that obviously were going to dig in. But he said, let's go out and try and get some of the best players. We talked about Martin Del Campo and Las Vegas Lights. How about Joey Greenspan, center back coming over from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Bob Lilly disciple, who will be the one to make sure that this ship is steered in the right direction. Play a three-back, you've got to have a guy on that back line who can really make sure that the communication is proper. Joe Greenspan quite regimented in his action, which enables you to do so.
If you're looking to get a ship in the right direction, I would also call a naval lieutenant.
There you go.
Free kick for San Diego. Sal Zizzo stands over it. A distinguished career, retired in May of 2019. Was a real estate agent in Las Vegas during the 2019 calendar year. Said Landon Donovan gave him a call, and the rest is history. Could not say no to playing for his hometown. Zizzo knocks it forward, fair. Comes back to Mendiola. Played alongside Donovan with the Galaxy. Alvarez. Taken by Adams. Ushered through and poked further by Lawal. Mendiola. That'll deflect. Lawal trying to get in behind. Snapped down by Lalo Delgado. Delgado is down, making his pro debut. A 22-year-old, a native of California. stormed into the starting role out of Westmont College in NAIA.
He immediately knew something was off on the left side of his body here. But how about the confidence of the goalkeeper? This is what you want. First professional game off the line up against Cutis Lawal. More than willing to sacrifice his body. I'll tell you this, you're a center back, you know that you've got someone behind you can trust.
Into the final third, this smacked in! Oh my goodness, what a goal! Junior Burgos! You couldn't have dreamed that goal!
Jake Fenlison caught out in La La Land a little bit, and we just talked about confidence on one side, and Lalo Delgado said Junior Burgos could be the one to put all the pieces together. A guy that's been a journeyman of sorts, experience under Eric Winalda and the Atlanta Silverbacks in years past. He brings him in up on this left-hand side, and watch this ball. Little flick up over the top, and the boys start to go the other direction. Watch all this space opened up. You got to step forward. Grant Stoneman lays off too much. I understand you're only 3, but with all the numbers behind you, you cannot allow the talent of Junior Burgos to put himself on full display. You need to walk over and apologize right now, because that was just dirty.
A goal scorer appreciates something like that. And Junior Burgos scores the first goal of the year for Las Vegas Lights. He played previously for FAS down in El Salvador. He's bounced around a little bit in the USL Championship, Orange County, and in Reno, who ultimately end up being geographic rivals to the two teams playing tonight. And he is off and running a goal in the 4th minute of his team debut. Down goes Adams. Well, Elton Garcia is allowing play to continue. All's well that ends well. Irvin Parra gets knocked down, former Las Vegas Lights player. A year ago scored 15 goals. Free kick, San Diego.
Let's watch the response now, Mike. A lot of emotion in this stadium right now, and to give up a goal like that in general, yet alone 5 minutes into the team's professional debut, not an easy one to recover from. We're knocking the ball around a little bit. You got to find a way to make sure that you get a proper recovery immediately. Go out, set the tone again. Get Mendiola on the ball. Carlos Alvarez, a guy who Landon Donovan has been really high on since coming in, probably exceeding expectations. Let's challenge this back line.
Dumps it in. Delgado races over. Devin, let's talk about what Las Vegas went through last year. El Chalice was the initial manager, left midway through year 1. He said he underestimated the league. In comes Eric Winalda. And yesterday he told us he felt he underestimated the league too. Although to be fair, 10 more points than the year prior, allowed 18 fewer goals. So the right direction. What does this year mean for him and Las Vegas?
There's a lot under it, right? I mean, especially with some of the rumors going on the backside of things, what is to be of the club. The defensive problems are 100% where you start. And yes, it's 18 fewer goals. They were still in the bottom half of the league.
Watch out for this curling effort. Nothing there for Kone.
This catches a deflection for sure, and so they'll go to the corner. But for me, it was his understanding of not just underestimating the league, but he admitted that he took on too many projects. He said he needed players that had a bit different of a profile. He could take more stock in them. And ones that he didn't necessarily have to coach each and every time they stepped onto the pitch. They were chasing the game a lot. Now is the time with the pieces that they brought in. You got to get on the front foot, set your expectations high, and dictate your own tempo. They've done that inside 10 minutes.
Burgos delivers. Missed Gabe Robinson at the back post. Jake Fenlison making his 42nd USL Championship start. 9 at Orlando City B, now in League One, and 32 over the last 2 years in St. Louis for Anthony Poulos. Lual takes it back, but a foul. And Jordan Morel goes down. Delgado forward. They felt the differentiating mark between their 3 goalkeepers. They feel he is the best distributor of the ball.
It does have to be a little hit on the psyche of Thomas Olsen, TKO, for everything that he went through. The growing pains of 2018 under El Chelis, and then his son Isidro Sanchez, and he was the regular #1 in 2019. And for a guy that's so young, obviously a massive amount of talent, and Lalo Delgado to basically dethrone you has to be frustrating. On the flip side of things, Eric Ronaldo's got 2 goalkeepers. He has not had that luxury in the past.
Well, there's a knock to the head here, and the USL Championship, among many, championing the importance of managing head injuries correctly. Won't stop the singing in this stadium. I mean, Devin, over 6,000 tickets out for this game. You talk with Landon Donovan, it feels so clear just how impressed he was by the early turnout at some of these preseason fixtures, the excitement around this franchise from the get-go.
How about how he felt about the experience in general? He wasn't exactly sure what this night was going to be like, but said that, you know, watching his boys when they played in their preseason game against Reno, how they performed, that it was more meaningful than any experience that he had ever had as a player, and that's in preseason. Owner, coach, sitting on the sideline, a guy that has seen this project start to finish, and to be down there, that gives you an idea of what this means to him and the emotion that's totally involved. And when you're invested in that much, you obviously want to succeed. Hasn't started great, but when you take a look at the roster in general, there are some real names on this team. Guys that have succeeded at a couple levels. And now, how do you put all that chemistry together? Culture is a big word, of course, but the ability to have the camaraderie to go out and get the job done is a whole nother story.
Caught by Fenlison. There was a great article in Sports Illustrated comparing the new goalkeeper for Memphis 901, Tim Howard.
I've heard of him.
And Landon Donovan, both owners of their respective clubs. One a manager, one resuming his playing career. Landon Donovan, by the way, said he never thought about suiting up again. But 2 guys who are permanently intertwined in that World Cup, and that epic distribution from Tim Howard that resulted in Landon Donovan's group stage clinching goal. And with one of the greatest calls in American soccer history on it as well, Ian Dark.
Just established a little bit of dominance here if you're the home team. Guys that are technically talented for sure. Put the ball on the deck. Salzizo, your captain, start leading you forward. Charlie Adams, one of those guys who's got to get on it. Mendiola, as you can tell, will venture out from the middle. So will Carlos Alvarez. And they'll explore the final third in a different direction. Just like this, Irvin Parra.
Parra whips it across. This will sneak through Metcalf. Robinson. De La Fuente. Burgos. Kone. De La Fuente making the run. And there's Greenspan, 2019 Defender of the Year for a reason. Misses the corner flag. It will be a corner. And there may be a problem here for Joe Greenspan.
Keep an eye on him, huh? See a player go down like that, you feel something, and I don't don't speak French, so I'm not going to repeat what he said. It wasn't good, I can tell you that much.
Greenspan's from Summit, New Jersey. That's not French, that's Jersey. Ball knocked across and cleared away by Fenlison. Charlie Adams draws the foul. There's room here for Parra if he can latch on. Del Campo there. Driven forward, headed toward Alvarez. He is onside. Metcalf. That took a deflection. Del Campo. Watch out. Adams. Adams scores! Opening goal for San Diego! Inaugural game, inaugural goal for the Loyal.
He's too talented of a playmaker to not be on the ball more. Wears the 6, plays in the 6. But for a guy that's played for 2 championship teams, unfortunately, he didn't hoist the trophy. Louisville City back in 2015 and the reigning champs Real Monarchs. He ventured to Orange County last year, did not get enough minutes. And with performances like this, how could he not have? Plucks this thing out of midair. Beautiful first touch, bottom corner. Thank you very much. Landon Donovan just sitting on the sideline, hits the reset button as we're back to square one.
Last year in the Austrian Regionalliga after leaving Orange County. Was released in June. Vegas player remains down elsewhere. And it is a party now in San Diego. Two goals, Devin, inside 16 minutes. Landon Donovan said people are coming here to pay money to watch us and be entertained. And so far, how could you not be entertained by the overall play? So Sandoval being looked at.
Mike, I want to track back to this touch by Charlie Adams because it can't be understated how good of a first touch this is as Las Vegas Lights pens their fallen comrade. Watch this. Right foot, beautifully done. He can take it with his right or his left. He squares himself up, so he gives himself any option that he wants. There's not enough pressure at the top of the 18. That's what Lalo Delgado is saying. The touch is good enough, but the fact that no pressure comes after it allows Charlie Adams to pick and choose exactly where he wants to finish this thing off. It's just a beautiful strike, but an even better touch to set him up.
So a second injury in these opening 17+ minutes. Joe Greenspan picked up a knock but didn't require the training staff to come out. Sharing some equipment with a teammate. So it appeared.
Yeah, just something to hone in on that hamstring just a little bit, tighten up the muscle, and that's something to keep an eye on, especially from Joe Greenspan, who's so active. Bob Lilly asked a lot of him in the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
All right, Devin, game on. You were asking how San Diego would respond. It felt like they did so quite well.
Just going to keep an eye on the middle of the field right now. Raul Mendiola and Carlos Alvarez. Alvarez on the ball now, the playmakers. Just watch them as they're both starting to stretch the field a bit wide and leaving Adams exposed in the middle. Fortunately enough, they stayed true to character, and what Landon Donovan told us, that they wanted to make sure there was enough pressure in the final third when a restart or ball got turned over. They had the opportunity to press the game and get the special ones on the ball. It's exactly what happened with Adams, but now it's time to start moving around a little bit. Let's go side to side and see if Vegas can chase.
Alvarez plays back. Greenspan, now Zizzo. First signing for San Diego coming out of retirement. Doesn't look like he's lost a step at all. Adams. Junior Sandoval returns for Las Vegas. Ball knocked across over the wall. Devin, you think about the standard that expansion teams attempted to set last year in the league. 7 teams came into the league. 4 ended up going to the postseason. Some others really struggled. It sounded like Landon Donovan and his staff were well aware, Nate Miller and Kerry Taylor, what they needed to do to avoid 3 teams' fate and follow the other 4.
In theory, don't make the same mistakes. But it's easier said than done, right? It's difficult for the sample size as well. Teams like New Mexico United, who invested not only in their early start, but in the U.S. Open Cup. You don't necessarily know if San Diego Lure are going to have that luxury, right? The way things are playing out. Maybe they will. And then you had other teams like Austin, who took some time to really get going. It worked out well towards the end of the season, gave Phoenix a run for their money. And how about El Paso Locomotive, Mark Lowry's boys, who started last night, 0-0 draw against Orange County to start the 2020 season off, falling second short, going to penalties versus the eventual champions Real Monarchs. You're a student of the game like Landon Donovan, as he was for so many years. You're going to do the same thing in the boardroom, in the film room. Go back, see what's working for some people, take it, make it your own, and just expand upon it. It's very similar to what they've done with this roster.
Charlie Adams can be a lethal set piece taker. Here he goes. Sandoval. Greenspan steps in. Do you feel this San Diego team as constituted looks like a contender? On paper, it feels like it.
There's a lot of people in both the Eastern and Western Conference that are going to say no. In theory. If you side with history, no. If you go with history and the teams that have come into this league before, it's easy to put the money in a different direction than the positive side of things, unfortunately. But then there are your New Mexico Uniteds. There are the Birmingham Legions, and things are changing a little bit. You just kind of wonder, is it possible for someone to do it? Sacramento Republic, they did it back in 2014. You were just kind of eyeing me a little bit. Emmer Clementa, of course, a part of it.
Available on the bench tonight.
I will say they have a better chance on the West than the East. The way that things play themselves out, Eastern Conference, the structure's different. Things are more wide open in the West. They tend to open it up, and the better ones learn as they go on. You ask me the same question in 2 or 3 months. That's not even half point of the season. I can probably give you a better answer.
De La Fuente won a corner for Las Vegas.
I promise you right now, that's not a concern of Landon Donovan whatsoever. He's worried about this 90 minutes, and that's it.
Redirected back toward Burgos. Three's company for this throw-in. Gabe Robinson, who last year was voted team MVP, with that long dynamic throw. It's not the flip throw, but this is tough to defend.
Eric Ronaldo compares it to one of his former teammates, Eddie Pope, and his ability to launch this thing into the box. It is a weapon.
Robinson part 2. Fair. Foul. Kone, you know the rules. Out of the box. Through the whistle from the referee. Positive Mendiola for Para. Kone back, fair. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products, special offers, selectsportamerica.com. Robinson, there's Delgado, pressure coming from Lawal. Lost by Alvarez. Kone. De La Fuente. Lifts. Header snapped well wide by Sandoval.
It's a much better build-up here from Las Vegas Lights. They're still asking a lot right at the top of the 18 as this ball gets floated back across. Beautiful step by Grant Robinson, and the actions of the Lights are a bit flat right now in the middle of the field. Moby Fair and Junior Sandoval are tracking Carlos Alvarez and Raul Mendiola. And what's happening is they don't necessarily have the bridge from the midfielders to their front three. Sekou Kone, in response to that, as you see, wearing the 22, is dropping down in, trying to get distribution into his feet. It's helped out over the past 2 or 3, but you also want him to be able to keep that back line honest and stretch this game.
Kone from distance, lashing at Fenlison.
This is one of the luxuries you do get, though, as he drops himself back in. You go one-on-one, Charlie Adams dives in immediately. Can't do that, especially not from that distance or angle. It's easy pickings for Fenlison, but look how much of the goal he has to work with. So you take the good with the bad. If they're going to give it to you, take it for sure, especially if Kone's standing over the ball.
Greenspan falls down, gives De La Fuente a path. And Greenspan gets an equal mistake. De La Fuente, Moby Fair. Runners starting to arrive. De La Fuente. Pushed back up by Del Campo, who starred for Adam Smith in Fresno last year. He's part of an expansion club there. Carlos Alvarez, who's in the middle of your screen, 7 and white, played for 6 different expansion teams. Well, take a step back. Didn't play for LAFC, was their first signing. Played for 5, signed for 6. And now San Diego. Left off nicely by Lawal. Free kick, San Diego.
Smart by Raul Mendiola here. Recognizes that even though he's going to get to the ball first, 2 things are going to happen. Either way, he's going to get whacked. But it's pulled in behind Irvin Parr there. And watch all the space open up. Beautiful little flick. Irvin Parr is actually the one that drops in. Excuse me. Trying to play off of Qudus Lawal. They just didn't have enough support going forward. The back line had locked down for Las Vegas Lights. We said defensively they had to get better. They have. The loyal is starting to grow into this match.
Greenspan. Convergence on the ball. Martin chasing still. That yellow went to Junior Sandoval, who's in mid-season form in that nature. Had 8 yellows and sent off twice a year ago. Meanwhile, another injury in what's been a not overly physical first half, but has had its fair share of knocks.
He's below. He's
It affects the overall flow of the play, Mike, when you get into a situation like this where multiple guys are going down, and obviously you want to make sure they're being tended to. It's also frustrating as a player. Las Vegas comes out hot, gets their goal. Junior Burgos, another worldly strike in the 4th minute. Said, okay, where's the response going to come from? Took them a few to get back into it, but finally you get it from Charlie Adams in the 15th minute. But just these couple of injuries. It's a lovely tackle on Junior Sandoval by Joe Greenspan, the center back, who made his way up high. Still coming back from the outside, sweeping back across. He gets all ball, but he also grabs some of that ankle, and he's not happy. Feels like the referee should have protected him a bit more. And that's his argument that he's laying case to right now as conversation ensues with Moby Fair. Old friends.
Saw Gabe Robinson launch this into the penalty area from a bit closer. Here he goes again. This is hammered well wide. And another injury.
He's done.
Greenspan was injured in the opening 10 minutes and has toughed it out with the help of that compression brace since. And the league's best defender a year ago may well come out 33 minutes in.
It's going to be hard on Joe Greenspan. By no means is he a project player whatsoever. This kid's established and has made his name on the East Coast, coming all the way out west, getting an opportunity. And the easy switch here would be Embra Clementa, one of the guys who was on that expansion franchise in 2014 under Preki, Sacramento Republic. The only team in their expansion year to take down the title. Of course, didn't have the East and West back then. Just much more of a melee of just, how many teams were there then, remember?
I know we have 35 now.
That's good for you.
Clementa from the Bay Area, after being born in Yugoslavia, as it broke up, went to Germany and then the United States for the turn of the millennium. Clementa in, and another look at Greenspan.
Just the overstretch right there. He immediately reaches to that right side. And this is a guy who doesn't get hurt.
Nope.
Not whatsoever. Approaching 60 appearances over 2 years for the Riverhounds and Bob Lilly. That's the constant that you want out of your center back.
And by Alvarez, Lawal, now Mendiola. Lawal again, leading Alvarez further. Play will come back. It's a foul against San Diego. Well, the crowd at this inaugural game certainly know how to get together in unison on a call.
Carlos Alvarez definitely gets tugged here. The problem is he reaches his right arm back around Grant Robinson, almost across of his face. That's why he gets himself into trouble. The way the tempo has gone in this game so far, you wonder exactly which direction Elton Garcia is going to head. Going to let the boys play a little bit or keep it strict. That first one there tells you the latter.
Alvarez. Run coinciding alongside him. Appeal for a handball. That goes unheard. Hit Morel. Mendiola steps in. Ball to Parra, taken by Sandoval. Stabbed ahead to De La Fuente. De La Fuente charging forward. Kone in the middle. Instead, it's Burgos. We know he can hit from here.
The decision making for Lights on one end has to be faster, but let's go back to the other side. Watch this ball coming up the left side. Jordan Morel off the left leg, right into that right arm. Natural position. This is really difficult as a defender. A lot of referees, they point to the spot there. Arms up, extended away from the body. It affects the run of play, and more importantly, it's inside the box.
It's Elton Garcia's 40th USL Championship match officiated. He has pointed to the spot 11 times. Lual, Alvarez, Lual again, this time getting creative. He gets dumped by Torre, and the ball snagged at Delgado. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2020. Sign up today. Get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for your favorite team, then click the follow button. Keep up the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. New 3-year pact keeping the USL Championship and League One on ESPN networks. be 20 games airing on national television, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPN Deportes during the 2020 regular season. And then over 750 matches between League One and the championship on ESPN+. Positive start. Martin overcooked on the touch. Para, Lawal toward Alvarez. Para helps to bring it down. Ball cracked into the 18. Martin can't bring it down. Junior Burgos scored a wonder goal in the 4th, and then Charlie Adams scored in the 15th minute. All square in San Diego's inaugural game and opening weekend, the 10th anniversary season of the USL Championship. Back to Clementa, mentioned earlier, bit on his backstory. He trialed as a center forward, Devin, then a right back, then a center back. For you, you were a center back. You continued to be a center back.
Throw me under the bus right away. It's not exactly how things played out.
Back to Burgos.
Once upon a time when I was 9, I was dropping 7 in the back of the net.
Cross toward Kone. Take it away. Sandoval puts it on the ground, puts it wide of the post.
One of the areas that I'd like Eric Ronaldo's boys to just calm things down a little bit. I get the idea that, okay, I feel like you see daylight. Look at all the numbers in front of you, though. Every now and then you can pull the trigger for sure, but they've shown in and around the 18 it can be dangerous. See Kukoni starting to move around. I'd really like to see Junior Burgos on the ball a bit more, and just notice how much they're utilizing this right side. It seems like every other play it's Sandoval, Gabe Robinson, De La Fuente. And that balance is something that, Eric Ronaldo, he said he's really priding himself on. We just haven't necessarily seen it.
He said there was a player last year who didn't know why he was being released. They walked outside, it was nighttime. He points up, you say you're a star, which star are you? Well, I'm that one. Day comes around, no more stars. He said, we are the sky. You and I were taken by that.
It was interesting. How about the response from the player? Why that one? Because it's the brightest one. It shines the brightest and the focal point. Yeah, this is a team, and they've really struggled with that over the past few years. Identity was a lacking issue, and if it wasn't an identity that they wanted. I can tell you that much. But there has been some top quality players that have come through this squad. Just getting them all to head in the same direction has been the difficult part. I'll tell you the tempo of this game though right now is start, stop, start, stop. The rhythm not there. When you're looking to guys like Raul Mendiola, Carlos Alvarez to help your goal scorers or your 10 and Irvin Para play up top, that's really difficult. Promise you guys like Grant Robinson, Junior Burgos, Sekou Kone, they'd like to open this thing up a bit more.
Alan Koch wins his debut for Colorado Springs. A look around the league on your screen now. All those games airing on ESPN Plus and still available on the ESPN app. New Mexico goes down. Ball lined across, and Kone trying to get under it. Reigning champs lose their opener. San Antonio with a new coach. Off and running. Same could be said for Phoenix, who had that incredible 20-game run last year.
Their new Shiny striker Rufat Dadashov bags 2 in the opening 25 minutes. It's got to be nice.
Shows what we know. We saw him in preseason. We were waiting to see what they saw in him. Well, there it is.
I was talking in the hallway. He obviously had me mic'd up. Didn't like what he heard. Get in line, kid.
Sandoval. Del Campo. Good ball forward, just beyond the reach of De La Fuente. Coming up at halftime, we go ahead of the curve. Why Real Monarchs were able to knock out Lou City in the 2019 final. Take a look at news and notes from around the league and the highlights we've seen. Are there more to be had? Fair, able to break up play. Las Vegas, a significant advantage statistically. Scoreline still level here. Burgos got by Zizo, but not by Martin. Burgos. He's got a certain knack, a certain flair for these. Member of the El Salvador men's national team.
Hit with a wink and a prayer from left field. Jake Fenliston asking him to listen to the calls. He didn't like the boys not having enough energy trying to play out of the back, and he's right. A couple of these have been too nonchalant. When their rate of play has been high, they've been men amongst boys. The problem is they've been in neutral a lot of this first half. The look you saw in about 5 minutes in was exactly where they wanted to be, right around the time they scored. Not like this.
Alvarez on the cutback for Parra. Six added minutes, Devin, with all the injury time and the 2 goals. And the substitution of Joe Greenspan, injured in the opening minutes and then out in the 34th. In the end, it may need to be more than 6 minutes. What a story that young man is. Paulo Delgado, professional debut. Maybe because he is in D1 in the collegiate ranks, he goes unnoticed. I think they've found a gem. Good start by Parra. Alvarez. Luol. Luol for Parra, who turns. Mendiola.
It's there, Mike. Definitely ripe for the taking. Decision making just a bit quicker. You can see the play slow to develop. I mean, you see me laughing at me behind with my hands trying to move everything around. And the boys are doing the same thing, but it's it's one of those ones where look over your shoulder so you have an idea of what's coming immediately. When you turn, you don't want to then look and have a decision. You have to have an idea of where you're going ahead of time, and that's where San Diego is just struggling right now. As it makes its way across the top of the 18, it's Mendiola, and you're going to Alvarez. It's just got to be a bit quicker. The Lights are having trouble chasing, but the execution on the tail end of it is just escaping San Diego right now.
I'm laughing because we spoke with Dave Saracen, the former interim manager of the men's national team, who's now at North Carolina. We were describing some of the pieces that he had available to him. He awarded you an honorary A license.
I'll take it any way I can get it, right?
And I call you Coach Kerr, but there's already one in the Division I college soccer ranks at Duke.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not surpassing him.
Nope. Beyond the halfway point, and a hearty allotment of stoppage time in this first half. Sandoval. Irvin Parra goes in to Junior Sandoval. Launched into the penalty area, fair. Clementa puts it down. De La Fuente. The runners arrive. This deflects. Burgos can't totally corral it. Parra knocked by Robinson. Sandoval steps in. Steadfast. Fair. Up to De La Fuente. Crossing for Kone. Sandoval dances through. Final seconds of this first half. Slid away. Martin cedes a corner. In the past, Las Vegas prided themselves on their offensive set pieces. Talking with Eric Winaldo, it was all about the defense there. Burgos winds it up. Halftime whistle. 1-1 Devin. The two goals were peaches.
Time to clean it up, though. This has to get a lot better in the second half if you want to go out. If you're Las Vegas Lights, it's still 3 points on the road, and if you're San Diego Loyal, solidify 3. They've gotten it back even, but the midfield has to be better. The boys up top have to be more dynamic, and I promise you, the goalkeepers are asking more from their back line.
The locals, loyal to the soil. San Diego falls behind in the opening 5 minutes. A terrific goal. And the response from Adams. It's 1-1 at the half, ahead of the curve. News and notes all coming up.
The head's too busted to walk it down. Yeah, it won't lock. Steadiest static shots.
Welcome back to Sold Out Torero Stadium. First game of the 2020 USL Championship Game of the Week. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Last year it was Real Monarchs and Louisville at the very end. Real Monarchs winners in the final. Why? Let's go ahead of the curve.
James and Olave comes in basically halfway through the season, and they have to reinvent themselves. They had to change up their philosophy. What was it? Find their dynamic playmakers. Guys like Jack Blake, Noah Powder, and Douglas Martinez. Let's start with Noah Powder down in the corner. The minute that he shimmies to the right, he owns Oscar Jimenez. You find Blake. There's your attacking midfielder. Now, he could go 1v1. He's also got Mulholland next to him, and also he's got a boatload of space for his center back, Eric Holt. This is the opening goal in the championship. They'd go on to win 3-1. They did this and many more in their route to the championship. Hats off to you, Real Monarchs.
Who's going to take it this year? Every coach thinks this is their season. Eric Winalda and Landon Donovan certainly hope so. How about we get you ready for 2020 with a little coach speak, a little pep talk.
Come on. Nice and tight here. Bring it in tighter. Nice and tight.
Everything we do matters. Very few people in the world ever get an opportunity like this.
We talked about making history, right? And what are you going to do to change history? When it's your turn to make a tackle, are you going to make that tackle? Are you going to score the goal? Are you going to make the save and throw a few miracles for us? Grab your freaking moments. That's my point.
Huge credit to every one of you. Massive performance coming on, the way that you press, and please for every one of you.
This is an awesome time, and we're going to show them that we're for real. We are for real because we all believe in each other, right? This is our moment. This is our moment to shine.
Every single day, guys, we have to fight to create our identity.
Take your moment within the games and make them your moments. Let's go out there and kick. Come on. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Wow, what a job he is doing. Leo Fernandez tries to shake a defender. Johnson trying to cross one in. Still alive in the box and scored! Oh, shot! Oh! Forbes turning on the speed pair.
Hey guys, how's it going? Kelsey Steele, Scott Stewart here from USL HQ in beautiful Tampa, Florida. How better to get this season going than laying out our top signings
to get a more advanced position on the field.
Sit in. It's Jimmy Ashford! Gets himself from attacking the back four, gets that chance to bury it. That gives Earl Edwards Jr. absolutely no chance. Why? Because it's in the top corner. You're never going to have a chance. It's over the wall. It's the perfect.
Popped up more with the left.
Oh!
More with the second goal. He now has a brace.
Look at the touch there. That's Soler great ball over the top by Weehan, and then how about the shot here?
It's an interesting sled. It just stays on there. You know. Get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we San Diego Loyal are proud to partner with the Radiant Children's Hospital for their commitment to caring for the whole child, physical, mental, and emotional, to create a healthy future for children and teens in San Diego and beyond for good. We are thrilled to welcome to the game tonight some VIPs, some very important patients from Radiant Children's Medical Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders. These loyal fans and the nearly 250,000 patients treated at Radiant Children's each year benefit from programs like the Midnight Pet Therapy Program and Art and Music Program, which are funded fully by generous community donors. To learn more, visit radiantfoundation.org/for-good. Welcome and make some noise for Radiant Children.
Two terrific goals in San Diego Torero Stadium, rocking a sellout in their inaugural game against Las Vegas. Let's take a look at news and notes from around the championship. Busy times. Tim Howard is back, and he started tonight for Memphis 901 FC. 10th anniversary means 20 games are going to be featured on ESPN networks, and there is an app for that. You can go to the Apple App Store and the Google Play Marketplace. There's a jersey giveaway that went through this week. I'll take a FC Tulsa jersey, please and thank you. So USL League One and championship news and scores available there. There's your score right now. San Diego, Las Vegas, 1 apiece. You're going to want to miss the highlights in second half kickoff. It's right around the bend.
Yeah, I can hear him.
The locals enjoying this matchup. Devin, would you rather have the scarf or the popcorn?
Popcorn.
Scarf.
Especially if it's kettle corn.
Halftime highlights. Here we go. You'll want to see all of these. We begin in the 5th minute of play after Las Vegas tried to score off the opening kickoff. This comes from the goalkeeper and all the way through in quite short order.
Just look at all of the space that's available. And again, it's 1, 2, 3 little touches you get going on your way. Fenlison knows immediately. He goes, oh man, I am caught out here. Junior Burgos, take a bow. What's the question next? How is the home squad going to respond? Well, you're going to get a great one out of your holding midfielder in Charlie Adams. As this rotation comes all the way from the right, this is a bad clearance down the middle. That is a no-no if you're Martin Del Campo. Charlie Adams says, thank you very much. 1-1. It's not necessarily anything you can do, I can do better, but the first touch is sublime, and the finish in the back of the net is just as good. You get it even? Let's continue that momentum. Unfortunately, both teams kind of backed off. They pulled back the reins, became a possession battle of sorts. You saw in the middle of the field, the technical aspect was lacking, but they're ready to get back to work.
We'll find out if San Diego can get back up a few gears in this second half of play. Landon Donovan's San Diego Loyal, Eric Winalda's Las Vegas Lights. Underway. Described as friends, more acquaintances than friends perhaps. USL Championships game of the week, matching one of 2 teams new to the league this year, San Diego and Las Vegas. The most demonstrative, Lawal. Javan Torre. Torre, the defender from Santa Monica. Crossfield ball handled by San Diego. We spoke with Landon Donovan about what he thought this team should look like in the grand scheme, and he didn't go into formations. Long run for this, and Del Campo will grab it. He said it is mounting pressure until the opposing team cracks, and then they want to win convincingly. That's their goal.
He was quite humble and said that, you know, outside of maybe a Phoenix Rising or an Indy 11 in the Eastern Conference and talent, there's kind of everybody else. First and foremost, they wanted good human beings. And you've kind of gotten that from the roster compilation they've put together. in terms of coaching, he said he's a pretty quick learner. I thought it was quite interesting how he said, you know, I'd really only run 2 training sessions my entire life. And so I needed to make sure that I surrounded myself with the best people possible. He did that, and his supporting coaching staff, and Nate Miller, Kerry Taylor, Matt Hall, all 3 of them have proved to be really big assets. But when you have an expansion franchise, this is going to be 5, 10, 12 games into a season before you figure out exactly what that black and white on paper starts to translate to in your performances.
This will run to Fenlison. Donovan bringing in Nate Miller from Lansing. And Kerry Taylor, who he said he has an immense amount of trust, really envies how she sees the game. Make up the 2 lead assistants on the staff. Kerry Taylor, the first female to be an assistant coach in the USL Championship, and hopefully the first of very many. Torre. Kone chips it through. Fenlison will handle that. Kone waving back. Looks like there's a little contact to Fenlison's head in the aftermath. Although you listen to who these great players try and emulate as managers, whose brains they picked. Eric Winalda said he really relied on Bob Bradley, and Landon Donovan a lot with Bruce Arena, which of course makes sense for both. Handball. Wayward ball sends Metcalf into the corner.
Shot from the sideline. Jack Metcalf is about 1.5 feet into the field when he threw this thing back in. A guy who, to be honest, he wasn't given enough credit for the performances he was putting in with Atlanta United too. Pudlian, only 28 years of age, and approaching that time where you're trying to figure out exactly where your career's headed. 2 years with the youngsters in the red and black, and tutelage under Stephen Glass. Swiss Army knife, all the positions that they used him in. Right back, holding midfielder. Moving to outside mid. Of course, tonight he's being employed as a wing back right in front of Grant Stoneman. I just really like to see this midfield evolve a little bit more. Drop Irvin Parra in.
Burgos, knockback De La Fuente.
Drop Irvin Parra down in front of Raul Mendiola and Carlos Alvarez. Almost create a triangle. Let Qudus the Wall be the point man. Start to open things up a little bit. More balls down into the channels. Spread the Las Vegas lights out.
Taken away by Burgos. De La Fuente. And this knocked backwards inadvertently by Stoneman results in a corner.
How many turnovers like this have we seen coming out of the back, Mike? 20, 25 yards from goal. Can't put 2 passes together, and it's the same thing here. Whether Charlie Adams hears the call or not, you're still put in a precarious situation. Compressed field, turn it over 20 yards from goal. Asking a lot out of your goalkeeper. We've seen how that turns out so far.
And this is a big day for Stoneman, made bigger by the injury to Joe Greenspan in a 3-back. All across. Knotted back out. Stoneman played for Lansing in League One last year. A 24-year-old out of Wisconsin, and then Loyola Chicago. who Nate Miller knew quite well, the lead assistant who runs the training sessions for San Diego, was able to acquire in the offseason. Long throw in. Foul. Prime real estate here for Las Vegas Lights as Ramon Martin Del Campo gesturing just how he was fouled.
Not only is it a foul, Mike, this looks like could have easily been a handball on Del Campo as well. And the problem is the outstretched arm there by Irvin Parra, using his momentum against Ramon Martin Del Campo. Junior Burgos fancies himself from this angle. Seems simpler, closer to goal, right?
Is this too close for Junior Burgos? He scored in the 4th minute, and it was simply magnificent.
I'll tell you, Mike, with this angle, surprised they don't have a left footer here. Challenge this near post. Look at all the space, the way this thing is lined up. It's angled towards that far post. Jake Fenlison resetting his lines.
It is Burgos. Short on the elevation. And Robinson slides in. Metcalf takes offense. He mentions time in Atlanta. Liverpool and Wolves youth. Parra would like that back. Yeah, Devin, with Irvin Parra, I think a lot of people would be right to question. He scored 15 goals in Vegas last year. Why did he not return? And certainly there can be a wide variety of reasons, but ultimately I think Eric Winalda, and he was kind about it, he just said ultimately we tailored our style a bit with him as the lead goal scorer of that side. They're going to play a little differently this year without him.
7 assists were the ones that really got for me. Obviously goal scoring is a difficult thing to do, but his distribution for that team is really what made them tick in an area that they didn't have a lot of options. And when he departs, you want to tell your expectations in another area. Okay, that's fine. You're not rebuilding, but it is definitely a rebirth of sorts.
Mendiola getting ripped at. Robin Torres certainly has to go into the book for that yellow card.
This is what you want if you're Landon Donovan, though. Raul Mendiola doing the dirty work in the middle of the field, turning players and running at them. So much talent. Look at him split the lines here. Well done. Turns Grant Robinson around. Robin Torres has to come all the way back over to help him out. He's such a technically oriented player. Landon Donovan recognized that skill. That's why he got him in the offseason. Spent some time together at LA Galaxy. And though not a lot tonight, a bit of that individual brilliance started to poke its head out.
Charlie Adams will put this in play. Lifted short for a wingback and missed Mendiola. Burgos on a wing and a prayer for De La Fuente. Lawal had the overlap, turned it down. Looked like Lawal's jersey got tugged a bit, and the crowd acknowledging that. Parra lays this across, and if not for Lalo Delgado, that's a problem.
Much better out of Irvin Parra. You want him on the ball for sure, and though he's not centrally located anymore, you pull the center back of Del Campo out. Notice all the space that drops in behind him. Gabe Robinson doesn't shift over quick enough. They get a runner there. It's another option. It's better from the lights.
by Adams. Down to Alvarez. Alvarez, we were told coming in, they felt was going to be a great squad guy, could feature, but not even sure he'd be in the 18 week to week, according to Landon Donovan. And by the end of preseason said, hey, you ready to go on Saturday? Said, yeah. Landon responded, you've earned it. I'm proud of you. Big words from an all-time American legend to a 27-year-old who's tried to reinvent himself yet again. Alvarez. Sandoval. De La Fuente trying to get in behind again. He's done that. Clementa knocked that up. Ultimately, this a goal kick. Metcalf upfield. Morrell. Irvin Parra, part of what used to be a really exclusive club. The double-double club used to be a rarity in the championship.
Now they're handing out membership cards. So he's the first one to do it. It was split between Seattle and Orange County, correct?
Out of Englewood.
Manu Ledesma next up.
Yep.
Solomon Asante.
Last year, half a dozen, it felt like.
You get a card. You get a card. There's 10 goals for you, 10 assists for you. There's a hat trick here and there. To be fair, in the grand scheme of things, it's still a very finite amount of players.
Free kick here for Las Vegas in the 61st minute. Burgos puts it in play. This is off the training ground. Fair. Burgos. Corner. Closing in on the final games of this opening weekend. Scores scrolling at the top of your screen. Games that aired on ESPN Plus over the weekend. Some still ongoing. Phoenix took care of business tonight. Corner, Las Vegas. Fair pumps it in again. Bicycle kick blocked. De La Fuente, part two. Did put it on target. San Diego's inaugural game against Las Vegas Lights. USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN News. One of 20 games that'll air on ESPN networks this year from Torero Stadium in San Diego. Home to the Toreros football team that are on, last I checked, a 38-game Pioneer League win streak in football. Their soccer teams have experienced some quite good years as well. Pro Soccer's return outdoors in San Diego. And Donovan finished his pro career playing indoor soccer for the Sockers in San Diego. Lual. Para bodied up. They've taken it back. Alvarez. And before that, play whistle back.
There's a lot of frustration here. It's a little knock Irvin Para does as he starts to run right through Junior Sandoval. The boys starting to have a little fun down in the corner. Not the best night for Qudus the Wall. Tumi Mushabani will step in, and you know, for me, this is just going to be a systematic issue they're going to have to work out the kinks on. 64 minutes in. His success that he found in Fresno last year was when he had the ball out in front of him, he was able to run at the back lines. Those opportunities were few and far between this evening.
Shabani comes in for his first minutes in the championship last year in USL League One. Made the playoffs, went to the semifinal. The South African Youth International, 25 years old now. Burgos with a little extracurricular with Stoneman, who is Mushabani's teammate in Lansing. Fenlison. San Diego feels like they have an incredible amount of depth to this group, among the best depth in the league. Had a great preseason, beat Dallas, beat Costa del Este from Panama, beat Reno.
That last one's going to be the big one they'll be proud of. Reno 1868, a team that's quite accustomed to being at the top of the pecking order in the Western Conference. Junior Burgos can have something to say about that. He was part of that 2017 team with Chris Weehan and the great Dane Kelly. Set all sorts of records, some of which, of course, most of which have been broken.
(15-1) shots in this game.
To be fair, how many of those were hit from 30 yards out and 20 yards wide of the goal?
For San Diego, they've now gone 50 minutes without a shot since the 15th minute. Their game-tying goal from Charlie Adams. And the proof is in the pudding. Only 3 on target for Las Vegas. Good interchange, Mendiola.
Should expect to see more of that. Mike Mushabani starting to step in now. Irvin Para is assuming the role of Qudus the Wall, playing the higher piece up top. And as the South African drops in, you're seeing that he's trying to connect all of the pieces together. There he is again. Yes, there's the foul on Metcalf on this near touchline. Recognized Jabintori sitting on the yellow card he picked up in the 55th. But that's sort of the exploration that I talked about that needed to happen in order for the success to come for San Diego Loyal. Too predictable in their actions going forward. Mendiola and Alvarez are starting to shift right and left, but someone has to step in behind them to help put all of these pieces together. And Donovan hoping that Shabani is that super sub that can make it happen.
Had to use a sub in the first half. Joe Greenspan went out. Emra Clementa like for like in the back. They do have a couple players in Atua Henny and Avila have had good moments in the past, and Eric Winalda's got questions. Eric Winalda knows San Diego quite well, lived in Southern California for years. Actually, first got involved in Las Vegas because it was a tax haven. Ultimately, a fire in Southern California burned his home to the ground. And he's since moved to Las Vegas full-time after initially splitting time to allow his children to finish the school year when he arrived with the Lights. Foul Clementa. Siku Kone slow to get up. For Las Vegas, confetti covered jerseys, wild and wacky promotions. I don't think Eric Winalda's job rides on it, but they play Sacramento next Saturday. It's guaranteed win night. They don't win. Next ticket at Cashman Field is on the team. The following week. Las Vegas has simply gone about this differently, Devin. 17 home games this year, so they have 17 jerseys. They drop money from a helicopter. They have a Elvis impersonator mascot that rides on a motorcycle and 2 llamas. They're just different.
Fan of Dolly and Dottie. Cash, of course, the Elvis look like. Look, I think when it comes down to it, everybody's viewpoint is going to be different, but that's the great thing about an opinion. Is it my cup of tea? No, not necessarily, but I also don't have the luxury of supporting a team. So I have to play by a different set of rules. Okay. And if an owner's trying to make a buck in a different manner, more power to him.
I don't think anyone in the league office has questioned Brett Lashbrook's creativity.
Some of his fans have. You know, recently there's been some things that have come out, but I think the fact that it's in the city itself and you have guys like Eric Winalda up front trying to help this go in a positive direction, that's got to be the main talking point.
Play will come back. Bigger, bolder, more outrageous was the headline that announced the promotions for the year. Guaranteed Win Night is their opening day. The world's largest water balloon fight 2.0 comes up July the 25th, and they're playing at midnight later this year.
You're calling that game, right?
You and I should go to that game.
I lent out the private jet, so I think we're busy that weekend.
Game starts at 11, halftime. They'll crack midnight and celebrate as you seemingly only can in Las Vegas. Sandoval. Sandoval! Well, he certainly had Fenlison guessing.
A couple of those. Junior Sandoval, of course, the goal by Junior Burgos. Sekou Kone's pulled the trigger from distance as well. Law of averages say eventually one will go in. Problem is for Las Vegas Lights, it was the first one.
To be fair, they did try and score on the opening kickoff and didn't look bad.
It's the precursor for what was to be.
Free kick San Diego, and Raul Mendiola will go track this down.
It's a good look at the Loyals.
Loyal locals enjoying this one. Mendiola Able to nod this over toward the line. Metcalf. Down goes Mushabani. Free kick San Diego, and they still have one of the good set piece takers in this league in Charlie Adams to hit it.
See if they go about it differently. They haven't been very impressive from their dead ball situations so far. There was the touch stop hit early on to try and separate the wall. You've got a similar situation here. And with your big man Joe Greenspan out, you no longer have the luxury of going after that real tall center back. Still very technically talented players.
Lifted by Adams off the restart. They fought that hit off fair. Players and fans alike.
Closer to his head on first glance. Whether or not it catches the arm is a whole nother story. But again, you're 35 yards from goal, and the ball that you're knocking is a terrible first touch. The second one sails well off in terms of the angle that you're trying to achieve, and you end up pushing yourself further away in terms of overall chances from goal to start with. And that's where you just have to be better. Nothing's on the training ground. That's obviously a growing point they really need to focus on.
How much of that is start of season rust?
More so, it's going to be a question of how much they've actually put into it in practice in general. Being an expansion franchise, sometimes you overlook the quote-unquote little things, and by no means should set pieces be taken as little. Remember the big number that everybody took notice to was like 44% of goals in the 2018 World Cup were coming from dead ball situations. That number has only started to rise both domestically and internationally over the past 2 years. You kind of alluded to the defensive side for Eric Winalda. They were quite proud that they hadn't given up any. But offensively, St. Louis in the Eastern Conference were quite efficient on that. Then coach Anthony Pulis, center back Sam Fink, they were a good tandem.
Burgos gets the blow by and misses Kone.
I think it's usually something that in the olden days it was okay, finish training, let's throw a couple guys in front of goal, who can strike a dead ball, who can whip corners in, and let's let the goal scorers get off of it. You can't do that anymore. You have to be more imaginative as to what you're trying to achieve out of it.
A little more direct here, and there aren't enough people behind for Parra to work with. Beyond Metcalf now. Quarter of an hour to go. San Diego looking to get off on the right foot in this 10th anniversary season of the championship. Today, their inaugural game. In 2011, the first game, the first goal weren't televised live. How much the world has changed. Clearance left something to be desired. This nodded back to Fenlison. Last 3 years, 7.5 million plus fans through the turnstiles league-wide. 65 players called up to their national teams in the last calendar year, including 26 to the Gold Cup league-wide. Right now, it just comes down to who can wrest away these 2 points that down the road may feel pretty vital. San Diego holds on to possession by a whisker. Back to De La Fuente. Sandoval chopped down. Landon Donovan looks on. Meticulous, calm, reserved. Bit of humility. I spoke with him. He has great big ambitions for this. He's got plenty of skin in the game. Named the manager back in November. Just turned 38 this week. To be fair, Landon Donovan to Sports Illustrated said he had woken up at 4 a.m. to get back to the grind on his birthday.
Willingly?
The San Diego team, part of Jake Edwards, and speaking with Sebastian Salazar from ESPN over this opening week. Such a point of pride in the Southwest United States. San Diego, Las Vegas. Once upon a time, Orange County was a bit isolated. Change coming. A couple here, two teams that from the outset said they were out to get 3 points and not 1. Echeverria comes on for Las Vegas. Their first change.
Junior Sandoval taking a seat. It's a bit underwhelming in terms of overall performance. Paired up next to Moby Fair and then Grant Robinson as they sort of flip-flopped. And still looking for that overall presence on the interior. We're starting to see Junior Burgos drop down into that block, I would imagine, and Echeverria post himself up top next to Sekou Kone. Tends to favor the left side a bit more, but of course that's a fluid motion.
Burgos will hit the dead ball. This is good looking and ultimately gets away. Slashed back at goal by Kone and knocked aside by Fenlison.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not sure Fenlison had much to say about this, did he?
This looked like it came off Jake Fenlison's hand. It definitely caught the post. But watch this, spins on a dime. Quick little makeshift half volley. It is just the post. With his entire body coming over to the left-hand side. Initial review looked like Fenlison got a hand on it. Instead, just a kiss off the outside of the woodwork.
Now comes Alvarez. Another day in the life of a player on an expansion franchise. Part of Team 1, starting 11, number 1, and it's Francis Atuahene who comes on. On loan from Dallas, his third loan in the championship. Time in Austin with the Bold. And OKC last year.
He can fly too. He's got some speed underneath him. Just unfortunately hasn't necessarily taken the steps after leaving Shakadela, Michigan Wolverines. Luchi Gonzalez down in Texas. Trying to find a way to get his efforts going, but watch on the outside, pick the tempo up a little bit here. I'd like to see the combination between he and Shabani start to develop.
Over Mushabani. Kone holding up play, waiting for assistance. Trying to deke between 3 players. Oh my, he's done it. Devin's got a grin on his face. He would have made him pay for that, I think. Here comes San Diego charging forward. The newly inserted Francis Atuahene. Atuahene goes down. They got the ball. Maybe that's the lightning bolt moment here for San Diego, bringing on Atuahene from the bench.
The other thing is you kind of see it in his actions where it's a little bit tentative when he gets down in the corner. Some of the new players nowadays, and you're looking at age range of anywhere from like 15 to 23, 24. So they got into these habits of that flashy look, idolizing the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, where they have to step up over the ball, touch, 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 and then go. You've got momentum on your side, and you sure have pace. Run at this guy. Challenge him down in the corner, get around the byline, and whip this ball into the box, and let one of your goal scorers get on the end of it.
San Diego rolls forward. 85th minute. Still time for either side to find a winner. Fuente throws in. He was well in front of where that previous play had ended. Shabani asking why. On the verge of standing room only tonight. They were only selling a couple tickets at the door, a couple hours to kick. 6,100, a sellout in the inaugural game for San Diego Loyal at Torero Stadium. Turned over. Is this the moment? Backing in the goal, Para cuts. This will deflect aside and get launched into the bleachers. That was a devastating mistake. San Diego can't put Las Vegas to the sword.
Irvin Para cuts this back behind him. Watch this clever little right back heel that he pulls through. Martin Del Campo expecting this to be played to his right side. I don't blame him, but you have to expect the unexpected.
Ball launched into the box, aiming for Martin.
How about the recovery? Nice little tackle on the backside of it. Well done to get back and go after Irvin Para. Paulo Delgado laying and waiting as well.
Adams for Metcalf. Plays it forward. Mushabani tries to get end line and can't. Torre. And there's the foul at Atuahene going into the back of Burgos.
Burgos knows this one's coming. He just leans into it. Recognizes the overimposing size of Atuahene. It's going to cause a bit of problems. Knows he can get away with one. Slow this thing down, and you know, if they can pick one out at the tail end of it, steal 3 points, great. Otherwise, with the way that they've performed on the road, again, 4-23-7, only 11 out of 34 games have they've been able to get points on the road. Sometimes a point can surface almost as good as 3, especially when you've got skeletons like that. 66% of their matches end up in the losing column.
Metcalf got a piece, hoping to retain the ball.
Mike, on the reverse side of things, everything that you've kind of heard behind the scenes and what we saw in preseason from San Diego Loyal. Turn the tempo up here. Some of the boys from Las Vegas Lights are almost walking around the pitch right now. And you want to make sure you keep yourself organized. But you've got some fresh legs as well. Try and take advantage of it. Get it into it to Henny. Mushabani up top. Go after him because they've shown, at least in minor glimpses, that they are fallible.
Taking back off the foot of Burgos. Mushabani. Torre breaks that up. De La Fuente head on a swivel. Kone had been making a run between the defenders, but Burgos carries into the final third. Falls. Kone! Save Fenlison. Distribution, brilliant. Mushabani leapt out of the way, and he's well aware there's no foul there. The through ball blocked by Stoneman. Atua Henny. The USL Championship makes its regular season debut on ESPN Deportes Friday, March 27th. Two top contenders in the East, Rowdies, Riverhounds. It's the championship on ESPN Deportes from Tampa Bay. Friday, March 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Mendiola. Crowd roaring. Para. Sets it up for Martin. Metcalf. Launches across, left it short. Echeverria. Looks on Clementa, taken back by Zizzo. Torre comes out. Jonathan Levine comes on. One more sub left for Las Vegas after this. They're not playing with a full deck of cards today.
Eric Ronaldo throwing in the white flag, trying to make sure they do get out of here with at least the 1 point. I told you about that record, and Levine will come down into the center of the park. Hopefully calm things down here in the final 2.5 minutes, as this game has started to open up just a tiny touch. Just sort of wonder, out of the magic that we saw, 2 opening goals, only portion of the first half, is there anything left in this?
Adams pirouettes. Kone. Free kick, Las Vegas, with 2 minutes left in stoppage. San Diego at Tacoma, and then they host RGV, and then they're away to Orange County, a real travelable game for the locals. It's a manageable opening schedule for San Diego. A point here would be a nice start, although not quite what they came for. Burgos. He's going to get another look at this. Handball.
How does the referee not let them play on here? I mean, I get it. Play by the rules and go back to the book, but at the same point in time, you're asking them to come back and to each their own. Not a coach, not a ref.
Final minute. That's an entirely different license, Devin.
Exactly.
Para shows for the ball. Adams. Kone slides in. Here comes Las Vegas. De La Fuente. Tackled in midfield. The yellow card
It's not the worst one to give up here. Counter-attacking option on for the Las Vegas Lights. De La Fuente tucked himself inside. The captain, who's had an interesting start to his career up top. Remember, that was Eric Ronaldo's outside back last year that had to make his way back from injury until the tail end of the season. If you don't step in, it's a pretty good scoring chance for the visiting squad.
Grant Stoneman will happily accept the yellow card. I think happily in the grand scheme, maybe not in the moment. Free kick for Las Vegas in the dying seconds of this one. For Vegas, they're on the verge of a very rare road point. Good first effort by Kone. Trying to swerve around. Full time. Opening night in San Diego. Two outstanding goals. Both in the opening quarter hour. It finishes 1-1 between San Diego and Las Vegas.
Unfortunately, the fireworks would be a bit lacking after that, but if you're Las Vegas Lights, Eric Ronaldo, you got to be proud of the fact that you were able to get a point on the road. As we mentioned, it does not happen very often for the home squad. Good recovery. Rough goal to give up in the opening 4, but they fought back. Got a bit of individual brilliance out of Charlie Adams, and they will escape with a point. They don't get 3, but that'll come in due time.
Kind of night that you keep your ticket stub for. One that memories are made out of. A new club, a new opportunity to live something, become part of something. The opening goal from Burgos, a master stroke. Charlie Adams responds for Landon Donovan. It finishes 1-1. We'll wrap it up when we come back. Nobody's left yet at Torero Stadium. Their pictures being taken, flags waving. It's a special night in San Diego. Loyal SC and the Lights finish 1 goal apiece in the inaugural game in San Diego for Las Vegas. Rare moment where they grab a point on the road. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, here are the full-time highlights. We start in the 5th minute.
Some players, Mike, have a particular set of skills that make themselves a nightmare for players like Jake Fenless. You're going to get that in the 4th minute, where those horrific dreams become a reality from about 35 yards out. Watch this.
Doink.
Apologies necessary. Junior Burgos, goal of the week. Las Vegas Lights were off and running. The response would come quickly, though. Charlie Adams, just about 10 minutes later, watch him pluck this thing out of nowhere. Off the deflection, horrific clearance from the center back. But again, Christmas has come early. We're going to open presents all night long. No, we won't. But the 2 beauties you're going to get in the opening 15 minutes are something special. Silky smooth into the bottom corner, 1-1.
And it would finish that way. Both goals in the opening 15 minutes of this affair. And for San Diego, a special moment, Devin. They'll never forget this.
They'll never forget it. And of course, you'd always like to come away with 3 points, but this is going to be a process that is not just 1 game and it's not just 1 season. Every single time that you step on the training ground, onto the pitch and into the stadium, you have to grow. Start of that maturity started this evening.
Next broadcast on ESPN Linear Networks, ESPN Deportes, Friday, March 27th, Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay from St. Pete. Technical facilities tonight from Vista World Link. For producer Sharni Yerke, director Gage Tillotson, Eric Valero, and Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts saying, so long from San Diego. It's a sellout. The goal's magnificent. It finishes 1-1. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.